Welcome, Life in Abundance with the Gentry, episode 10. We made it this far. Thank you for listening. This morning, we've already had a photo shoot with the kids. If any of you have kids, you know what a photo shoot's like. It's like traveling. It's like there's always going to be Armageddon, crying, madness, cussing. Right, babe?
I didn't cuss this time. Not at anyone, anyways. Yeah. But
And Bree makes me I don't like wearing dress-up clothes at all, so I had to wear slacks and a collared shirt or a button-up shirt, and I was like sweating, and then my hair didn't look good, and I was pissed.
I think you were fine. The kids looked darling, which is all that mattered. And you couldn't be in like your workout clothes and throw off the vibe, so he looks good.
I take pride in being the best underdressed, best dressed person. But
Mark has a rule in Fresno. If it's above 80 degrees, it's automatic. You can wear shorts to any event.
Yeah.
Which frustrates me to no end. So I am always overdressed when you compare me to my partner, underdressed.
But I look good, though.
You do. And you know what? I'm fine with it. As long as nobody's trying to tell me what to wear, I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to this. And if you're listening to our podcast, click a 5-star like and let us know how you feel about the podcast.
Yeah, leave a review, please.
Yeah, we're on episode 10, which I think 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 10. So we made it this far. So
we're going to keep going.
Yep, pretty excited about it. But what are we going to be talking about today, babe?
Well, we have a couple things. I feel like after our last episode 9 was a little bit more intimate and personal, and kind of digging deeper on that topic, basically. And I felt like we posted our podcasts on our social media, and I know we had like a ton of messages of, can you give us more? Can you give me more details? Can you give me a task list? How do we go about, getting to where you're at as far as like your emotional space, and knowing just how to connect better at a deeper level is something that I think people want so badly right now more than ever. Mm-hmm. And for us, we had to work on ourselves before we could even communicate and work on each other. And, you're doing life together. We've been married 17 years. It's not like we took a break and figured out ourselves and kind of reunited. But as you kind of respect space for one another to work on the things you need to, it's a lot easier coming back together and deciding, okay, we need to do this moving forward. These are tasks that help us to grow and thrive, and this doesn't help, so there's just a few things you have to focus on daily, and then weekly, monthly, and in a year's time. By doing those things every day, you're chipping away at this block that seemed impossible at one point, but really was much more doable when you do it in small increments like that. It just makes it more realistic. Yeah,
I mean, in my job for years, people always come to me and they want to lose weight or get in shape, and you tell them, hey, this is going to be, like a year commitment, 2-year commitment, and they get so overwhelmed in the first couple months, and then they stop, right?
Yeah.
Even though we come up with, like a plan, and we have things to do daily, but just most people, it's just the law of average. About 1 in 100 can do it themselves, mm-hmm. and about 5 are going to follow through with what you say in a year. So, the tools that we have now, it's amazing how much it keeps you on track every day. And there's multiple things you do a day. And the time frame of using them could take you 20 minutes, could take you 2 hours, depending on how much you have inside that you want to get out. But I know for me, when I first started doing it this year in January, we sit down and we talk about the facts of where you're at now and your body being balanced in business, so all 4. And you do these things called freedom maps. And it's a bunch of questions they ask you that, what is a reasonable goal for you in a year? What is a radical goal? And what is impossible? Mm-hmm. So usually impossible is about 10 times what you do now. And we go over body, being, balance, and business. Mm-hmm. And so for me, one of my goals was to one of my impossible goals was no drinking at the time. And now we don't drink at all. So we're about 9 weeks in. And then another goal was to have a 6-pack, because I've always wanted one.
6-pack of Corona or
on the body, washboard abs.
That kind of 6-pack.
Yeah. I've always been a little hairy, so you couldn't really always tell. So I'm getting there though. I'm on the TRT now, so I've been getting there. But
saucy.
Yep. But that was one of them. And then like for my business, I wanted to do $500,000 in the year. And then I wanted to have so many clients per month. That was at the beginning of the year. And you get overwhelmed when you think about everything that you have to do to get there and things that you'll have to change and all those things. And then a weekend, you're like, screw this. This is too hard. I'll stay comfortable. Right. So what we do with here is we break it down. So we come up with your impossible goals for your body, being, balance, and business. And you do 4 on each area. Right.
And what we call this is living by the code, that every day you're not going to take a big chip off the block, if you will, but every day you're chipping away at the block, and eventually you're going to get to that impossible goal. So something like, as you said, an impossible goal for your year was not to drink. You did that at like, what are we, 8 weeks in? And 9 weeks in of sobriety, if you will. And I know we sound like alcoholics, you guys, but really we were drinking every day. And whether it's a lot or a little bit, the fact is it was still every day. And so we had to decide, okay, this isn't healthy for us. And it was something that we felt called to do at that time in our life and still are continuing. And we didn't put a time frame on it. We just decided, okay, right now we don't need this, and it's okay to let that go for now and see what happens in those next few weeks. And about a weekend to not drinking, we had a huge opportunity presented in front of us, and we were in the right state of mind to be able to move forward with that. And that completely changed our lives once we kind of accepted the invitation. And that was to step into this coaching role. And we naturally were already doing that in our day-to-day life. But when we decided, okay, this is much more than just something we are doing behind the salon chair or in the gym or in, your health and fitness business as a whole, it took on a whole new meaning for us. And guiding us in that direction, we had to live by the code in order for us to really achieve what we want, that impossible goal. We have to do these things. And it doesn't sound like, or looking at it from, point A to the impossible goal, it seems like you're sacrificing so much in your life, when really the truth is you're depositing value into your life. You're adding to your life. So don't look at it like I'm dieting and have to take away all these things. It's like, no, we're going to just implement new healthy habits. And soon the things that you thought you loved so much before, you soon do not care about so much because you feel better. You care more about feeling better. And so that for me was huge eye opener. Going into this coaching program is like, what does this look like for us in the future? I had an accountability call, 2 accountability meetings on Friday, and then 3 coaching calls with some ladies. And it's amazing to me how I thought that this is going to just push in the hair world, that I'm meant to do this for all salon owners, stylists, burnt out, tired, whatever, feeling like they can't get any relief. I can offer them that with these tools. But then I quickly realized, no, these can apply to anyone. This is for anyone in my chair. And, my clients are not hairdressers. My clients are not salon owners. But I found myself just witnessing to people in the work God's done in my life in these last 9 weeks and making that relatable to them in ways that I never even knew, And so, and part of that was coming to some realizations of my truth of we are drinking every day, and that's not healthy. We are setting this example for our children, and that's not healthy. And those were sometimes hard to look at and think, oh my God, I'm not doing the absolute best for my kids. I don't want to even have that comparison. So I'm going to change that. So for me, it was taking something away from my life, if you want to look at it like that. But also I look at it as it was adding so much value to not just my life, the people around me. So I didn't see it as a minus, but a big fat plus.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, too, you realize when you come up with your goals, how much things that don't add any value to your life that you need to get rid of.
Well, like how much of that consumes your life.
Like, exactly. Wow. Yeah, like how much if you watch Netflix or if you scroll on Instagram or drink or whatever it might be, right?
Just like time suckers.
Yeah, time suckers. And then you realize you're like, oh my gosh, like I just have my kids on their iPad, or I haven't talked to my wife, I haven't taken her on a date, those things. And it's sometimes hard facts that people don't want to look at, right? Because you got to change up a lot of things. You might not be able to hang out with your friends as much, or you might need new friends, or you got to talk to your wife and have conversations that you don't want to have. Mm-hmm. And so I think goal setting I was never a huge fan of in the past, and now I'm 100%. Like, you can't go anywhere unless you have goals, because that's the only driver and that you're going to have to get you where you want to go in life. And goals can change, and that's what's cool about it. Is like, for me, I had to change my business goals as of this month because I'm doing a whole new thing. And so, like, where I had $500,000 in the year, I'm doing $500,000 in just 5 months. That's my impossible goal. And so, like, things change and you pivot, and that's fine. And that's what I realized too. Like, with not drinking, it's like, well, like, that was one of my impossible games. Well, now I got to come up with something new, right? And to make it hurt and to make it worth it. And so
that stretch has to be painful.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I feel like just watching you in the last week make a huge transition to your future schedule and what that looks like for me and our family was a big eye-opener too. Is like, okay, well, your routine changes. That means things that I do change. The way I show up for us changes. And, you know, when you're in this together, that unity, you have to sit down. It's like, not only is he doing this for him, what am I doing for me? And what does that look like for our family? So it's kind of constantly reassessing and redirecting and coming up with another plan, you know? And for me, I just felt like your impossible goals weren't all that impossible once we started chipping away at the block. And then it makes you realize, oh shoot, did I set my goal too low? You know? And I think a lot of times you realize as you're getting closer to it, maybe I did. And that came to mind for myself, you know, 5 years ago. I said, I'm going to be $1 million stylist, which seemed outrageous in the beauty industry. But then as I quickly transitioned my business, and then my goal was to hit 90 NVR clients in a year. I did it in 11 months in a recession during COVID. Oh, well, that wasn't so impossible. I should have aimed higher. But you learn as you go and you evolve as you go, and you never want to go backwards. That's how I feel as we're progressing. So these are just things that we want to share daily with people that can change everything for you. And it may not seem huge right now, but the minor adjustments that you tweak here and there can make a huge impact. And just chipping away at the block daily, it doesn't have to be big. It can be minimal, and you see a massive change in a year span.
Yep. And so what we do is we take the facts of where you're at right now in all 4 of those areas. Like the facts of where your body is, the facts of where your being is, the facts where you're balanced, and the facts where your business is. And then we come up with 4 impossible games, things that are 10 times greater than what you're doing right now, things that you will seem impossible. And then we come up with 4 for each area: body, being, balance, business. And then we work backwards. So then we do a monthly targets. And in the monthly targets, we come up with 4 things for each area. So your body, being, balance, business. 4 things for your body, 4 things for being, 4 things for balance, 4 things for business. And then one of those things you have to do each week. Okay. And what's cool about that is like, for example, in body, if your goal is to lose 100 pounds, okay, well, that's your impossible goal. Then we go backwards. Okay, first month, what do you have to do this month to lose to 100 pounds? Well, I got to join a gym. Perfect. That's one of them. 2, I need to get a trainer. Boom, that's the second one. 3, I need to go buy shoes. Okay, that's 3. 4, I need to hire a dietitian. Perfect. So you're going to do one thing a week and check them off. So, you know,
when in all reality, you could do all those things in a day.
Yeah, but
it seems overwhelming when you're looking at it.
Yeah,
you know,
so
like when you look at your list, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
So you just make it small, and then you report each week or each month to us or coach, and then you kind of go, and then we just keep you on track, right? And then we ask you why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Why you're not doing it, or like, hey, I did all 4. I need 4 new ones, right? So you always adjust, and then by month 2, then we're like, okay, now we're gonna lose 8 pounds, and then then you start getting into it, and then before you know it, you've already lost 80 pounds, and it's month 6.
And you've built momentum. It's huge. Yeah.
Yep.
the momentum, I think, is where people see like, oh, this is paying off, where it may not seem like it weekly, but when you look back at a month of where you started to where you are now, it's all, oh, that's huge. And it seems so simple, you guys, but if it was that simple, people would do it on their own, and they don't. And so we realize the accountability for us is huge in just sharing our truth, sharing our story. It's more relatable to people because it doesn't have to be this big impossible goal for you that you think you have to do daily. One decision like that shouldn't pivot everything on that massive of a scale. You know what I mean? Where when you're doing small things daily, you're going to see a massive result without it having to like traumatically change your life in any way, you know?
Yep. I mean, like for me, if you're consistent, you become disciplined. If you become disciplined, you get results.
Yeah.
And it's just like when I played baseball in college, I had this drill that I'd put the tee at the end of the cage, and I'd hit 10 balls to the back of the net. If you hit it on a line drive to the back of the net, your swing was on plane. So the only thing you had to do when you played was pick the right pitch, which is the hardest thing. But as long as I knew my swing was in the right spot, all I had to do was pick the right pitch. And this is what just doing it daily, doing these things daily, the core 4, body, being, balance, and business, is you're just taking good reps for when you do get that one little thing, it clicks, and you're off to the races. And that could change your business by millions of dollars. It could change your marriage by being in the gutter to being the best it's ever been. It could be your body where it just clicks, where you're, okay, I haven't missed a day in 3 months. You know, those kind of things. Is just doing things daily and becoming disciplined is when you get the big results.
So can you share maybe one thing for every area or for the code, basically all 4, one thing that you do daily for each? Yeah.
So in my body, I work out every single day for at least 20 minutes. And that could be going on a walk, could be running, gym. I go to the gym 7 days a week. And I also do my fruits and greens every morning. Those are my 2 things that I do. And the app, what's cool is you can check off fuel, which is your fruits and greens, and your workout. In my bean, I meditate for 10 minutes in the morning. And then I do a stack, which is a walk and talk with God. It's like a journal on the app. And what's cool about those is it saves it into the back office. So you have all your old stacks throughout the day. I think I'm up to like almost 700 stacks in the last 2 years. And then your balance is you text, write a note, call, email, whoever.
No, what do you do?
Oh, what do I do?
Yeah, in your balance.
In my balance, I write a Post-it note every morning to you by the coffee pot. It could be anything. Could be, I love you, you're sexy, let's crush today, whatever it might be, right? And then another one is I text a friend, client, dad, mom, just kind of whoever. And then in my business, discover and declare something. So typically I'll go live on Instagram, or I'll read an article, apply that, listen to a book and apply that, something like that. So I do that every single day. Body, being, balance, and business. And those 2 little things just daily, just constantly.
Little clicks.
Closer
and closer.
What's amazing with spouse is I told my wife, I said, this is what I have to do every day. And I said, on the weekends, I'll wake up the same time. I'll go to the gym at 6 a.m. And when I get home at 7:15, like, then I'm a dad, right? And this is like a non-negotiable. And Bree said, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
But then she has some too. And so it's got to be both sides, because
it's a mutual agreement for sure.
Yeah. Because if it's not, then it's very hard, and it's an uphill battle. And so that's some ground rules that Bree and I have set, and knowing that it's going to make ourselves better, which in turns make us a better husband, make us a better parent, better business owner, more focused on a purpose, and those kind of things.
Yeah, and I do the same thing, not the same things, but I definitely have 4 things that we focus on daily. And one crucial one to me is my foundation of how I start my day, and I call it my power hour. And now my team is doing this also. And we implement this every day in our life. We do not miss. And when I miss power hour, mom's off, wife is off, business owner is off, everything is off. And I know that I do not want to start my day that way because everything else spirals. There's no regaining momentum for me. It's like I just feel like that day is shot. Not to say that anybody maybe even notices, but I notice, and that is compromising me to perform at the best of my ability, I believe. So power hour is a non-negotiable, and for Mark too. And that is when I sit down and I get on my app and I literally do my stack. I start every morning with a prayer stack, and then I just process whatever feelings I'm sitting in that day. And today was a feeling of gratitude. And I've set a goal that 30 days, my prayer stack will be about Mark and just the transition he's experiencing in his career and his life and how that affects our family. And then I make an effort to text a client of some sort or one of my team members just to kind of stay grounded and connected there. I too have my fruits and greens and supplements, and that's huge for me. I don't start my day without that. It's kind of like that and coffee and my stack. And so that really sets up my power hour. And I like to do my numbers for my business first thing in the morning and just help you reflect at what your day was like yesterday and where your day is going today. And so that is a non-negotiable for me, and I report those numbers in my accountability coaching also every week, so I don't have to feel like I'm scrambling and being swallowed up by this wave of to-do lists. I'm always ahead of the wave, which feels good. And then for balance, I call it my debrief. I have 30 minutes a night with Mark that we debrief and just talk about our day. And sometimes those 30 minutes are cut short because of the phase of life we're in with our kids, but we make a conscious effort to just sit and be together. And then 30 minutes with my kids, if it's playing on the floor with them or even sitting with them while they watch their iPad or on the trampoline or whatever. It's just 30 minutes of time for them. And those are important to me. And then I feel grounded. I feel good about my day. So if I didn't get anything else in that day, at least I hit my, code, I'm good. So that I feel like has made a huge difference for our life. And just, we have a good system, and that respecting the system, trusting the process is always healthy and works for us. Mark makes dinner every night and I entertain the kids while he does that. And then it's like whoever gets the kids in the bath after dinner, the other person cleans up dinner, whatever it may be. And we just work as a team and make a conscious effort to do that. Mm-hmm. So nobody feels like it's all me or it's all me. And, you just have a joint effort to do those things. I before used to come home and be like, well, I worked literally all day. I stood, I'm not doing anything else. Well, that wasn't the right way to approach my family, because I come home burnt out. I give them my least best, and if you can even call it that, and that wasn't fair to anybody or myself. I hated myself in the way I was showing up as a wife and a parent. I just said I'm not going to live like that anymore. So we've made some adjustments that have seemed impossible at the time, but daily working towards them, we're so much better off than we were when we started. And I can't, all I can do is share truth with you of what has worked for us, and it's proven itself time and time again to continue to work.
Yeah, because trust me, what we were doing 3 years ago was not working. No. We made it work, right? And we did things probably most couples wouldn't do, but my mind frame and your mind frame and mindset is just totally different. Yeah. When we bought this house and we were so upside down, like if I had this mind frame now, it would have been a whole different experience. Kids, like, it's amazing. Like, I've had this mind frame since we've had Coda, our third kid, and typically the first year of having a baby, it's just a grind. Like, where everyone's tired. It's a lot, right? Plus with 2 other kids, and this has actually been the best Bree and I have been, and the most clear-headed I've been, and the most present in all this. That it's been amazing how much easier life has been when you're doing it together, right? And when you're focused on something. Because for years we would just fight and not be on the same page and
almost
just
create more resistance and more chaos than what was even necessary.
It's like we're both in a boat and we're rowing, but I'm doing the opposite way of Bree, and we're just like getting nowhere, right? We're like we're kind of getting where we want to go, but we're not really getting there, right? And so and that's what's funny, that's where our coach said, week ago, he's like, Mark, if you rise how God wants you to rise, he's like, Bree, if you become vulnerable, it's like you guys are going to do things in the next 4 to 6 months that you're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, that would have taken us 10 years, right?
Already this week, and the conversations we've had, the accountability we've had, the one-on-ones we've had, those were conversations I couldn't really see us having for like that anyways for a long time, if ever. So it's just amazing how things transpire and come into place when it's God's will. But I know for us, I think these are things that work for us daily. Everybody has their stuff, and everybody deals with heavy topics, and I'm not saying by any means our life is easy, but we've chose to make the best of what God has given us and be responsible with it, moving forward with our responsibilities and our calling, and just keeping a close focus on where we need to go. And everybody is distracted by noise, but it only has as much power as you allow it. And really, if you're in control of that, it's a very, very strict self-discipline. And like we said about our power hour, it's a non-negotiable in our household. I don't want Mark to show up here until he's had that, because I know he's not fully on until he's had his power hour, and vice versa for me. And so I respect that space. And as a wife, I want to protect that for him as much as I expect him to do the same for me. So it makes a world of difference for you when you're showing up together and have the same, heart, the same goal, all those things aligned. So we're excited to see where this goes. I know for Mark, just getting his, momentum, I guess. We go down south again this week to another in-person training, and people keep saying, gosh, do you guys go every week? No, it just so happens this month things have overlapped quite a bit. So we have been there every week this month, but next month will be a little bit more chill for us. But meanwhile, we're just growing and wanting to move towards that impossible goal. And these are the steps that we're taking weekly, daily to get us there.
So just kind of recap, something that you could do with your spouse, be pretty cool. Or you can also shoot us a DM on Instagram, Mark Gentry Training, or Blonde by Bree on Instagram. Or if you got our number, shoot us a text. But we can give you these tools. That's what's pretty amazing, is all the tools that we use every single day we have now for you guys. So what we do every day is we do a core 4. It's your body, being, balance, and business. What it's doing is taking your facts and feelings, your focus and fruit. It's giving you all those things. Then we do a thing called a stack, a prayer stack, or they have gratitude, rage. It's like a journal. It's like a walk and talk with God. Takes about 20 minutes every day. And then we set goals in all aspects of life, of where you're at right now with the facts of it in your body, being, balance, and business. And then we come up with 4 impossible fruits for you to do in each area. And then we bring it backwards, and we work month to month, week by week, and to set you up to get to those impossible goals. And I think you'll realize within 6 months, you're like, wow, that's really not that impossible, right?
And for this program, it's a daily check-in on the app, and then also a weekly call. And then there is an opportunity for an in-person accountability if it's necessary. But we're in it. We're going for it.
Yeah, and we are going for it, and it's amazing how much more I want other people to win, and I want other people to have abundance in all aspects, in body, being, balance, and business, because that's what we've been called to do. Because Adam and Eve ate of the apple, we have a scarcity mindset, and we don't think we can have it all, or it'd be too hard, or we're too comfortable. Our friends, will think we're weird, or parents, or whoever might not think, oh my gosh, what I'm saying, you can't make that much money, you can't have that, you know what I'm saying. And no, is this, with all these tools, it has been proven that you can have abundance and body, being, balance, and business. And abundance isn't just money, by the way. Abundance is having the body that you always want, having the balance, and the life you've always wanted, right? And the marriage you've always wanted, and the kids you've always wanted, and the purpose, right? The big thing is purpose, and then the business you've always wanted. And this shows you, because you're doing the work, right? I'm not telling you what to do, I'm guiding you, but you're actually doing the work. And
that was one thing that stood out to me in this class, actually. I feel like I'm in another class with the same coach, and a lot of times when he's asking questions or anyone's asking questions, I feel like I have all the right answers. I'm like, well, am I in the right room? A lot of times I'm like, I could just tell you how to fix this fix this situation with this, this, and this. And it's like, you need to lead people to the truth. They need to see the revelation through it all so that they're actually going to do the work. A lot of times trying to give them the secret sauce, the secret pill or whatever to fix it isn't going to help with any sort of follow through. And so like you were saying, 5% actually follow through and do it, or whatever it may be, the statistic. I felt like for me, I wanted to give all the answers, and it was like, wait a minute. No, that's not how somebody grows. That's not how somebody is held accountable. You can't do it for them. And we're living in a society where everything is done for them. And we just cannot continue on that path, because you'll see that less and less actually gets done in your favor. It actually hurts you longer in the long run, you know? So for me, I felt like I had to see that and realize I need to lead people to their truth. And once they recognize what it is, it's a lot easier for them to see what needs to be done and take the next step. Yeah. So for growth for anyone in any situation, they have to see it. You can't tell them, they need to see it, you know? That was big. Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way. You're kind of doing a disservice to someone by just giving them, the answer, or giving them what you think, because one, they might think you're an asshole. Two,
they're not going to do it.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. Like, it's just because, you can say, hey, here's how you make $1 million, and I'll give you like everything to do, but you got to do it, long term, and you got to do it every single day. Yeah. And what's cool about this app is that you check in every single day, and it's a point system. And then I, being your coach, I could see it in my back office going, hey, why don't you do that? Like, you haven't checked it off. Oh, well, I'm too busy. Okay, well, this is what you're paying me for, so let's go. So, it's, you can't lie on it. And if you do lie, you're just lying to yourself. But it's changed my life. It's changed Bree's life. And I would love to help you do it. And Bree would love to help any women out there that feel the calling, that they want to live life in abundance.
Yeah. And we know just from our own experience, sometimes you need a little skin in the game to actually follow through. And for us, that was a big deal. We invested an insane amount of money in our education and expanding on what we've already been doing, because we've seen the growth and experienced the fruit from it. And it's like, I want more. But to go deeper into this, to really push myself, I need to be a little bit uncomfortable. And so when I came to Mark and told him, hey, I think I need to do this, and he's like, you want to spend how much on your education?
It was $20,000. Well, her hair was almost like $25,000.
Yep, for NBR, yeah.
For NBR, yeah.
But what I took away from it was value that you can never put a price on. Yeah. I am never going to be the same person that showed up in 2019 as I am now. And that was worth every penny spent. But I have to also say, because I was so invested, I actually did it. I could have taken I can take these 10 good things from it and run with that. But no, there was a completion challenge through it, because I had to apply them at the greatest level for me to really get to where I wanted to be. And because there was skin in the game, I felt like more inclined to do it. Yep. So anyway, sometimes you got to pay to play. Got to
pay to play. Yeah, I did that. I was always always price first, value second, or never saw the value. And when I joined Warrior, it was $10,000 for the year, and that was the first time in my life that I didn't see the price. I saw the value in it. And then it was another $10,000, and it's amazing. I did $20,000 in a year, but my business 5-6 times what I did the year before. My body got better. My marriage got better. All that, I mean, all of it got better. So it's like, what's that worth, right? And because a lot of it you can't measure financially, but I can measure it in my life and what it's done for us. And so don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Do not look at price, look at investment and what you'll get out of it. And at the end of the day, even if I were to invest $10,000 and not get anything out of it, at least I learned, right? At least I learned something about me. But I can guarantee this: you make the investment in this app in yourself, dude, it is game changer. It works 100% of the time if you do the work.
And it's funny, as you were like so stressed about me spending $25,000 in a year's time on advancing my education. And we literally did that in 8 days in the last month in advancing our education. Yeah. So it's like you put things into perspective of what it's worth. And I know people get awkward talking about money, but really in all reality, that sometimes is what makes the world go round. And for us to get better, that's what we had to do. We had to invest. And we don't look at it now anymore as a cost. We look at it as what it has gained us in our life is worth so much more than that dollar amount. And we used to play small, and now everything, I'm like, add a zero, baby, whatever it takes. And it's not because we're not using wisdom or living carelessly. It's because we understand the value. We are walking proof that the fruit from it is worth so much more than any zero added to any dollar. So, that's where I feel good about it. I know that our growth is something that I thank God every day for. And again, I never thought I'd be sitting in a podcast with you in 2019, looking forward 4 years. I couldn't say that this is anywhere I thought we would be. And I'm so, so grateful. So that is why I'm starting my day with a prayer stack and in gratitude, because I know that there was a time that I didn't see this would be my life.
Yeah. One thing I say to the men, if you wake up with a little bit of anxiety, regret, just like self-doubt, call me, text me, DM me. Trust me, I have been there. I lived with that for years, and it absolutely killed me. And I now look back, and I don't want to say I wasted, but I let a lot of things, a lot of time go by that I could have done a lot of cooler things. And now, man, it's so much clearer and purpose-driven. And dude, it is amazing what it'll do to you, to your marriage, with your kid. I mean, everything with your kids, business. It makes everywhere. Impact everywhere. And so if that's you, please reach out and let's just have a conversation, because trust me, I was in the same spot. You were looking at porn, drinking, not really wanting to be in the marriage I'm in, not feeling good enough, comfortable, all those things. And just shoot me a DM. Give me a call, and I'd love to talk.
Yeah, and he's not lying.
Yeah. And so thank you for listening to episode 10. Again, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you are listening to it on a podcast, give us a 5-star like. And until next time, Life in Abundance with the Gentrys, we're out.
Bye-bye.